Hi guys, my name is Sandiswa and welcome to my channel Taxshelteronline. If you are new here, we simplify tax here for small businesses and individuals. If that's your kind of thing, then please subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And if you would like, you can check out the rest of my content. It's pretty good content. It simplifies tax for small businesses and individuals, and it makes you understand tax better, right? Okay, as you can see, this is an impromptu video, so I didn't even make notes, and the reason I'm doing it is because my inbox on Instagram is blowing up with people asking me about the SMSs they received from SARS or emails they received from SARS pertaining to their outstanding returns or non-compliance for their companies. What I'm going to do right now is, later I'm going to address how you can go about trying to correct the situation. But firstly, I think we need a little bit of education on how company tax works. Because for the longest time, people have believed that if they register a company and they don't trade, or if they trade and not make any money, then they don't necessarily need to submit income tax returns. And that makes sense, because isn't it that's the same with individuals? If I don't make any money, then I know I don't need to submit returns. Or if I don't have a job, I know I don't need to submit returns. At least that's normally the case with individuals, right? So people make the assumption. In fact, no one really tells them, okay, no, well, that's not how it works with companies. So now I'm just doing this video specifically for that. First of all, I'm just going to go through how it works with companies, right? First of all, I know a lot of people are in this situation because of the tender system. People always get opportunities to work with the government, and that's through the tender system. So in that situation, they normally need to submit, normally need to register companies. And sometimes this is a once-off situation, or sometimes even if it's not a once-off situation, sometimes people will get a job in the 1 year, and then maybe in 2 years later get another job. So it's not consistent when you're working with the government, or when you are when you're a tenderpreneur. So I understand and I empathize that this is how some people got themselves in this situation. Or in some situations, people have this great idea and they think that it's going to work, and then unfortunately it doesn't, and that does happen. So I empathize with everyone who's going through this or who is in this situation. And I do honestly believe, which is why I have this channel, I truly believe that SARS or the government is not doing enough. In fact, even our schools or anything like that, we don't get enough financial education, which in my situation, which in my opinion also includes tax education, which is very important, because eventually each and every one of us becomes an adult and works, and they need to understand how tax works. So this is one of those situations whereby a person would be working for years, and then they'll find that they haven't been submitting returns when they're supposed to be, and now they're in trouble with SARS. But anyway, so I'm saying this to say that I really do empathize with everyone. But then I just want to explain how company taxes work, or business taxes work. So when you register a company with the CIPC, one of the things that happens is you are automatically issued with a tax return. What that means is that you are now registered with SARS, right? Now, what is the difference between a person, which is individuals, and companies? With individuals like myself and like you and I, you have to physically register yourself for taxes. Either you do it on e-filing on the app, or you send an SMS, or you go to the branch, but you have to physically register yourself. So you don't get born and then when you get an ID number or a birth certificate, you don't get issued with a tax number like it is done with company registrations. So with individuals, you have to physically go and register yourself for tax returns. That's why you find that sometimes when you apply for jobs, you'll be asked to go register for tax so that you can have a tax number. Now, it's the opposite when it comes to companies. As soon as you get those CIPC documents saying that you have registered ABC, Pty Ltd, you are then issued with a tax number, which means then you are registered for tax. Income tax, to be specific, because remember there's different types of taxes, and if you want to see those, there is a video for that somewhere in this channel. But for specifically income tax, you are automatically registered for it when you register your company on CIPC. So that is where the problems start. In fact, that is where the danger is, that automatic registration, right? What that means then is that you are liable to submit income tax returns. Whether you use the company, whether the company makes money, whether the last time you see the company is the day you register it, you are liable to submit income tax returns. And unfortunately, as I have been preaching, SARS is desperate right now, guys. They want money. They need money. That is why they're trying to introduce all kinds of taxes and they really need money. Public sector is under immense pressure because we are in debt, number one, and number two, our social bill is growing. Like, I'm sure you've heard the stats like of how many people are actually receiving grants as opposed to how many people are working and paying income taxes. It's a mess. So you're liable to submit income tax returns every single year. Now, another confusion that normally happens is SARS requires income tax returns. CIPC requires annual returns. Two different things, and people often think it's the same thing. So CIPC, in order to keep your company active and in order for you to confirm to them that your company is still active, because remember with CIPC, you've taken that name. So someone else could be wanting to use ABC Pty Ltd, but you've taken that name, right? So in order for them to make sure that you are still interested in keeping this name and you want to use that company, they then expect you to submit annual returns. That's simply for that. And also obviously there's a fee that you pay for that, but I haven't paid anything more than 150 rand. It also depends on the turnover that you make, right? So those are CIPC returns. It's just to say, hey, CIPC, I'm still here. I still want this company to be operating. I'm still active. Or even if you're not active, but you still want to keep your company name, right? That's CIPC. Now we're going to park that. That's as far as I'm going to go with CIPC. Now with tax, remember you've been automatically registered for income tax, right? So this is how taxes for companies work. And I'm referring, every time I say tax, guys, I'm referring to income taxes, not VAT, pay as you earn and whatnot. I'm not going to be talking about that right now. I'm just talking about the tax that you are automatically registered for, which is what people are in trouble for right now. So what happens is when you register your company, most companies are registered with a year end, which is February every year. And the reason for that is because that's the general tax year for SARS, right? Now, if you want a different tax year, it can happen, especially for companies that are linked to companies overseas, or maybe have different, like for instance, I've seen a lot of fishery companies will have a June year end. Maybe it's because of how their business works. I don't know, but then you have that. But most companies, unless you choose otherwise or you physically change the year end of the company, the year end is February, right, of each year. So when you register a company from March up until February, you need to submit one annual income tax return, right? Another thing that you need to submit is what we call a provisional tax return. Now, a provisional tax return, right? It's not a separate tax from income tax. It's exactly income tax. But why is there provisional tax? The reason there's provisional tax is because SARS noticed that companies make money throughout the year from March up until February. That's 12 months. And then only in February do they then think about submitting tax. And what normally happens is that companies have cash flow problems. So can you imagine this? March to February, you make 100,000 Rand, right? In taxable income. And then now you have to pay 28% on that. 28% of that is 28,000 Rand. Most companies don't have that physically at that moment because they've done whatever it is that they've done with the money. So SARS introduced what we call provisional tax returns. Provisional tax returns are there to say that from January to August, from March to August, that's 6 months. So August is half year of the tax year. they say that, okay, so check how much you've made. I'm simplifying this as much as I can. Check how much you've made. Okay, you see that you've made 50,000 rand. So your estimation is that your taxable income for the year, because for 6 months it's 50,000 rand, we're assuming that it's going to be the same. For a year, you're going to be making 100,000 rand. So 100,000 rand, how much tax should you be paying? Should be paying 28,000 rand. Okay, fine. How much is half of that now? Because we are in the 6th year, it's 14,000 rand. Okay, in the meantime, let's pay the 14,000 rand so that you don't have to pay the whole amount of 28,000 rand at the end of the tax year and then run into some cash flow problems, right? That is why provisional tax was introduced. It is paid in August as well as in February. It is to make sure that companies do not run into problems. Now, provisional tax is available for individuals as well. And you will, and when you check which individuals have provisional tax, you will understand the whole point of it. That is for individuals who are not employed. This is people who receive passive income or income outside of the traditional 9 to 5. People who get interest, rental income, and those type of things, or people who run businesses and whatnot. So that is what provisional tax is. So 3 things you need to do for when you are registered for a company every single year. You need to submit 1 annual return. You need to submit 2 provisional tax returns, 1 in August and another one in February. Now, say for instance, this company is not trading, blah, 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 blah. You don't need it to be compliant or whatever the situation. It's okay to at least submit that 1 income tax return every year. Because if you miss that, I haven't seen any company that has submitted 0 returns, SARS penalizing it for not submitting provisional returns. It might, however, happen in the future. So if you can, do submit your annual return as well as your 2 provisional tax returns. But if you can't, then at least make sure that you submit your 1 annual return. Because with that one, I can assure you, SARS will issue penalties, which is what they've done now. So what are those SMSs about? Well, SARS is kind of like tired. It's like they sat down, they were like, yazi sikhathele, sidiniwe, sidikiwe. It's like your mom when she says they want to go wash those dishes and you don't. And then she says, I'm over sizitya, and you just don't. Athi mamako, sandizwa khange ndithi vasizitya. Hayi wena, nix awuvantu. And then asuke kulaa ndawo kuyo akuvuthulula ukuthi that's what SARS is doing basically. I'm sorry for people who don't understand Xhosa. Basically what I'm saying is that it's when your mom says go do your chores and then you just don't do it, and then they say go do your chores and then you just do it, and then all of a sudden they just boom come and murder you or hit you or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that's just what is happening with SARS now. They just tired, they've had enough, so they're like, you know what, let's come for these people. Now what should you do? Go submit those nil returns, guys. Zeros. Nil returns are zeros. We're basically going to go to the return and submit zeros. If you need help with that, I can assist you, but I will charge you. It's time. It takes time to do that. So I will charge you. I will leave my email. You can email me, or maybe I should put it on the screen. I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to come and explain. So what do you need to do? You need to go submit those returns. And unfortunately for some of you, after you've submitted the returns, you can't go ask SARS to write off the penalties, which is what we call request for remission, right? It's when you go to SARS and say that, SARS, I apologize. I know I haven't been compliant, but I've corrected everything. Now, can you please write off the penalties? SARS does that sometimes, but you have to have like a reason, a very good reason, which in most cases, unfortunately, people don't have. In fact, SARS, most of the times when people say that I didn't know, I wasn't aware, they see it as ignorance, which I don't really, because some people don't know. But then I will admit there are people that we have told before that, listen, you need to submit your income tax returns even if you don't trade. They'll be like, but why? What is the point? I'm not doing that and whatever. So I hope this helps, and I hope that you're going to go and, you know, do the right thing. And also, oh yes, I don't want to forget this, guys. If you know that this company you are not going to use, or maybe you'll use it in 10 years time. You don't want to go through the admin of having to submit for it every year, or you know you're going to forget, rather than having penalties build up. Because now remember, after you've submitted, you need to pay the penalties. And I can imagine it must be the worst thing to have to pay for a company that you never even used to, you didn't do anything with it before, or you had that one job and then that was it 5 years ago. But now it's just there and it's not in use, and you have to now pay SARS for it. But unfortunately, you have to do that. But then what I was going to say is that if you know that you're not going to use this company, submit the returns, pay the penalties, or you can even ask for remission. But I really don't see SARS giving people remission. But you know what, you can try, you never know. So you can do whatever, submit the returns, request remission, or pay the penalties, and then after that go to CIPC and deregister the company. Go to CIPs and deregister the company. Please guys, just save yourself the heartache. Just deregister the company, make it non-existent, and then live happily ever after. I didn't want this video to be too long, so that is what's up. That's why I'm here. That's why I came to do this one. I'm going to leave my email somewhere, so you guys, if you need help, I will be charging for the help, by the way. And also guys, there are a lot of people that are sending me DMs saying that, but this and this and this happened to me, I empathize, but that it is what it is. You need to do what needs to be done. Yeah, check out the rest of the content and subscribe now. Click the button subscribe, click it now please, and also like the video and share it.